Hey, everybody, and welcome to a special bonus surprise episode of Played with Meg and Mike. As you
And boy,
can
am
see,
I surprised.
and Meg is surprised, and everyone else was not so surprised about what was happening today. But as you can see on the screen here, we have formulated three new tribes, or two new versions of the old tribes and one new tribe. And as of today, all of our players are mixed up. So we have Kobara, which now contains Sharon and Dave, as well as 6 original Kobara players. Kyle was given a choice to join which of these three tribes that he wanted to join, and he chose that one, which is a bit of a surprise for me. So we'll get to that in a second. We have Navala, which only John and Andre are sticking around, and they're probably hoping that they can turn around that losing streak and represent the OG Navalas, OG Mongooses. And then we have the really interesting new tribe of Ulu, which is owl in Hindi. And I'm really excited to talk about that one specifically, but I also am the most nervous about talking about that one because I don't want to influence it at all.
Yeah.
But what's your kind of initial reaction to seeing this and to how all this played out?
My favorite part was that they guessed your surprise. That's my favorite part. Again, theme for me, I most enjoy Mike Hamilton when we get Frazzleton. So how did you feel when they guessed your surprise?
There's nothing I could do. I felt fine. Like I thought that people would expect it at 24, which they did. And so if I had done it at 24, they all would have said, we expected that too. Right. So I don't get any credit for something that they predicted not happening. Right. Which I should get credit for that. I didn't think that they would think that it was going to be a swap at 22. Right. I figured they would think it was going to be at 21. But then when I did the reward challenge, which one person won and it was a secret, they probably, they put it together.
Okay. So that was his reward challenge that he got to pick?
Exactly. Got it. Which is what I did last year too, is someone got a reward before the swap. But yeah, so in general, my reaction is I think this went pretty well. The format of using PowerPoint and just moving stuff around, I think was a fairly visual way of doing it, which I thought was okay. And the tribes ended up, I think that certain people seem like they're going to be in danger right away, but which sucks. You never want that. But in general, it's a pretty good split. Like the people are spread around. I was worried it was going to be like one tribe was going to be all Kobara,
Do you think that the newest tribe is just by virtue of having a new name and being new, do you think that they're the most vulnerable?
I just think they're the most vulnerable because they have 4 old Navalas and they haven't won a challenge in a long time. So it's going to really come down to Brian. And then they have David Cox, who is actually done pretty well in the challenges.
From the other team, my boy Brian from last year, bless his heart, Paul Chow, they all seem great.
Yeah, they seem great. But of them, like Brian is really the only one that is like up in that top tier in the immunity challenges. Although Paul this season has been doing really well as well.
I love Paul Chow redemption story.
That's right. Well, that's it. So we can start there because that's going to be really interesting because obviously Ruth, Sasha, and Sharid have voted the same way for a number of weeks against April. So April and Ruth and Sasha and Sharid ended up on the same tribe together, which I'm sure they're looking to get some distance between them because they've been voting together for a few weeks. So they're still together, but you have April, who's clearly not going to, I would say, is not necessarily going to be tied to those three. And then you have Brian and David and Paul, who voted opposite ways in their one vote with Silas, I think, as well.
So that's the fresh start we're all looking for.
Exactly. So, it seems like Ruth and Sasha and Sharid would probably be pretty tight. Brian and David would probably be pretty tight, and then they could probably just pull Paul in maybe. But, I think that for people who want to all these people probably want to kind of get into the game and have options, and instead of just trying to do the same thing each week. Because if you think about it, really both tribes have had a lot of monotonous. It's been a lot of monotony, because one has just been consistently not going to tribal, and the other one's been consistently doing it. And so for these people to break open the game and just try something new on Ulu, which is going to be fun to say, they're going to have free reign to do whatever they want over there. So I'm really excited to see them. What do you think about Kyle's decision to go to Kobara?
I think it's a really solid color choice. Green, probably looks good on him. Solid jewel tone, saves you some work. Color-wise, it just makes perfect sense. Strategy-wise, I don't know. He spoke for himself.
Well, yeah, but he's not on here. You're our color. You're our color commentary.
Well, I gave my color commentary.
All right, honestly, I would have expected him to go to Navala. Just
I don't know. I don't know who he fucks with over there.
That's true. I think but it makes sense either way. Like, I think he'll be, he's got good connections obviously with everybody. I think in that tribe, everyone for the most part has good connections with each other. After the Silas vote, there was a split, but everybody kind of came together again, and there hasn't been any clear targets. So that will be super interesting. And then when I talked about that upper tier and the challenges too, right? Like, they've all, I don't know, Jordan's kind of middle of the pack, but still, again, hasn't screwed up at all. Jonathan only had the one that was a poor performance. All the other ones that he's participated in have been decent. But then you have Elliot, Callan, Chelsea, Kyle that have all been in that kind of top 5, top 6. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be really, and then plus getting to sit somebody out.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be tough to beat. But you're only as strong as your weakest link each challenge, and so I think hopefully there's still a bunch of back and forth. And then you have Navala, which is
Graham and April still separate, eh? Can't just let them live in a peaceful household. Let them go to groceries when they need to go to groceries.
Well, did you feel like it was a pretty fair way to do it, just literally live?
Yeah, I thought it was really fun.
Good. I thought so too. I was so nervous though. And when I started watching that happen, and I'll just, put everything out there, right? Like, I was nervous for Graham. Looking at it, it's like, that James, Chris, John, and Peter, at least early in the game are going to want to work together. Because they're friends, they're part of a similar group. But at the end of the day, this game also has one winner, and so they're also probably willing to stab each other in the back if needed. But how early in the game is that going to be necessary? And so hopefully Graham, through all those winning streaks, has built a good relationship, and Graham and Amanda has built good relationships with all of them. They've all been very active in the group chat. Or hopefully they just they win. They win out. So that's seems like a bit more of a defined majority in Navala, but I'm hoping that there's a bit, a bit of a change up, or just some different interesting types of strategy going on there.
But it's all going to come down to the challenge anyway.
So, it always does.
It's going to be pretty interesting.
That's right. Anything surprise you about this, or about what they were talking about on our last video, or just any thoughts that you want to add about this?
No, I don't think so, but I think it's good change. I think that this is the direction that the game needs to go. That poor tribe just really got the shit kicked out of them for, I don't know, it feels like a month, but I guess it was just a couple of weeks. But I don't know, time doesn't really exist, and it's in a form anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's nice, but also it's crazy to think this is only the first quarter. We're gonna do this.
Yeah, this 4 weeks are done of 16.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. Now that it's the pace is faster. I wonder, it seemed at first to me to be very ideal because it took so long last year, but then they really haven't had any breaks. It's just like so much tension. So I don't know. Why'd you do this?
Well,
Why'd you make this game?
I don't know, and it's gonna be even harder for me to organize with 3 tribes, but at least you actually end up with more people sitting out each week because 2/3 of the tribes will be sitting out. So, that should be a little bit of a break for everybody, for the majority of people each week. But yeah, the pace is going to keep going, and there's going to be a lot of mayhem, I think. But it's going to come down to those immunity challenges for sure. And I'm just hoping that all of them can win, one over the next few, and
I
send
would
all
really
these guys
prefer
tribal.
to see some, like, I just don't want to see another bloodbath one after another. It's not good TV. Think about that, you guys.
Yeah, think about that, you guys. Yeah, I'm trying my best to help Navala and try to even it out. But I know if I'm too overt in my help for one tribe over the other one, then the other one's going to make me pay somehow. You know what I mean? They're just gonna give me a penalty, so I got to avoid that. But yeah, I'm super excited to get into this, to get these pages modified and get the website updated. Will look pretty cool. And that's it, I think, for today.
Yeah, so great. Good job, Mike.
Oh, well, thanks for your help
today.
I know, for joining and for always being a part of this. It's great to chat with you, and I don't know, I'm just super excited, and I hope that all of these guys look at this and hopefully they see an opportunity for the rest of their game.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Well, take care. Have a great rest of the weekend, all right? Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.